All right, so today we're taking a deep dive into a university financial planning syllabus, but we're stripping away the academic jargon. We're going to turn this into your personal, everyday blueprint for managing your money. Honestly, whether you're mapping out massive project finances or you're just, trying to figure out where your paycheck literally vanishes to every single month, this framework is an absolute game changer. Because that's the ultimate question, right? Where does the money actually go the second it hits your account? It keeps millions of people up at night, but instead of just stressing about it, we're going to look at finance like building a house, a highly structured architectural process to actually secure your future. So here's our blueprint for today. 1. Setting smart financial goals. 2. Practical cash flow strategies. 3. Mastering the 50-30-20 rule. And 4. Investment basics and risk. All right, let's jump right into step 1, setting smart financial goals. Look, we have to figure out your why before moving a single dollar. If we don't, a budget just feels like mathematical punishment. So the very first step is categorizing your life chronologically. Think about your short-term goals for the next year, maybe a vacation. Then medium-term, like the next 5 years, maybe saving for a house deposit. And finally, long-term targets, 10+ years out, like retirement. Putting these on a timeline gives your money a real sense of purpose and direction. But having broad timeframes isn't quite enough. The source material insists on filtering these goals through the SMART criteria. I mean, just saying, I want to save money, well, that's really just a wish, right? But saying, I want to save $5,000 for a car in exactly 12 months? Boom! That is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When you apply those 5 steps, vague wishes transform into undeniable, actionable steps forward. Okay, moving on to part 2, practical cash flow strategies. So the blueprint is drawn. Now we've got to pour the foundation. The material actually outlines a few different ways to control your daily cash flow. You've got zero-based budgeting, which is incredibly strict. Literally every single dollar gets assigned a job until your balance hits zero. Then there's the envelope system, which is way more tactile, using physical cash categories. And then there's the 50-30-20 rule. And when you compare these side by side, it's super obvious why one of them is heavily favored for everyday simplicity. Which brings us to part 3. Mastering the 50-30-20 rule. Because here's the thing, the crucial trick to any financial system is picking one you're actually going to stick to. Rather than tracking every single penny and completely burning yourself out, the 50-30-20 rule just looks at your total income like a giant pie. You automatically divide your paycheck into 3 distinct, super manageable slices: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, and 20% for savings and debt. Let's actually break those slices down. First up, exactly half of your income forms your concrete foundation. This 50% is strictly dedicated to your inescapable needs. We are talking rent, groceries, basic utilities, and essential insurance. Basically, the non-negotiables. You absolutely have to pay these just to keep your life running safely and smoothly. Then, the next slice allocates 30% to your wants. And yes, your daily iced coffee and all those streaming subscriptions live right here. And honestly, this is vital. A financial plan that doesn't allow for any fun is a plan you're going to completely abandon, for sure. This 30% chunk ensures your budget stays realistic and actually enjoyable without wrecking your overall stability. And that leaves the final 20%. This is the aggressive engine for your financial growth. Sticking to the curriculum's heavy focus on wealth building, this chunk gets immediately diverted away from your checking account. It goes straight to paying down high-interest debt, building up an emergency fund, and investing for your future. This is literally the slice that creates actual long-term wealth. All right, final section, part 4, investment basics and risk. Once your cash flow foundation is locked in with that 50-30-20 rule, you've got to shift your mindset. We're moving from just managing today's money to actively growing tomorrow's money. And what's really fascinating in the syllabus is this sharp distinction it makes between saving and investing. Saving is basically your safe, comfortable cushion for emergencies. But investing, that is the higher-risk rocket fuel you absolutely need to beat inflation and actually grow your wealth over time. But of course, wealth accumulation isn't free, is it? The price of admission is volatility. The curriculum defines this as the risk-return trade-off. It's a universal law in finance. If you want those high returns, you have to be willing to stomach a much higher degree of uncertainty. It's a total balancing act. And to protect this financial house you're building, you really need to know exactly what threatens it. The syllabus highlights 4 main storms to watch out for. First, market risk. the chance your investments just drop in value. Then inflation risk, which is kind of like a silent thief slowly sealing your purchasing power. You've got interest rate risk shaking up bond values, and finally, credit risk, which is the danger of a borrower just defaulting. And look, ignoring these won't stop them from hitting your house.
Fortunately, though, we can build a really strong roof against all of these elements by following 4 sequential mitigation strategies. Number 1, build a solid emergency fund so you never have to sell your investments at a loss. 2, accurately evaluate your risk tolerance. Basically, what level of risk lets you sleep at night. 3, utilize diversification. Never ever put all your eggs in one basket. And 4, implement asset allocation by spreading your money across totally different types of investments.
We've covered some incredible ground today, right? From setting those smart blueprint goals to mixing the concrete with the 50-30-20 rule and putting a solid roof over the whole shebang by mitigating investment risk. So I'm going to leave you with this final challenge. Go look at your own bank statement today, figure out your actual spending ratio right now, and ask yourself honestly, is your financial house built on a solid foundation, or is it time to redraw the blueprint? Take that first step today and take control of your financial future.